Yes.
I don't know whether it's a repetition of the same question, but you did say that we all ought to be seekers and delve into the own conscience and treat as a laboratory. And you said, verify these truths for yourself and see if they're reproducible. Could you expand on that with a few examples? What sort of truths and how does one verify them?
When you sit in meditation and you see very calm, don't believe in that calmness until you keep it up when you are working also. Test it there. Whatever you gain here in meditation or in worship, test it in the field of life. There also, if you keep your mind calm, then that is really worthwhile. There are so many occasions. The whole of life is a testing ground for whatever you gain through your inner life. In that connection, I will say what the Upanishad said. Every man has a double journey to perform in life. One is an external journey, the other is an inward journey. We all do the external journey. Eating, drinking, educating, getting job, marrying, rearing families, getting name, getting fame, all that is external journey. Perfectly valid. In the very context, there is an inward journey to realize my true nature. Combine these two together, then one becomes the checking point for the other. Every journey here becomes checked here. Today, for example, I go to church. I come back. How do I behave with the neighbor, or the wife, with the husband, with children? If I have grown spiritually by that act, naturally it will be found reflected in what I do. That's what we have not done so far. By their fruits ye shall know them, Jesus said. So religion is to be judged by the way we express ourselves in the interhuman situation. That's a good laboratory testing ground for every one of us. When you combine these two, then you will have real signs of religion. Otherwise, a static piety which ethnical religions offer every day to us. That's why men are going to church and temple, yet they are still wicked. They are very hard-hearted. They can be impure, though they go to churches and temples. Because that is just a formal religion. This is not a formal religion. You are gaining new strength within. Suppose there is an impulse rises for crime, I must be able to control it. Impulse rises to jealousy, I control it. In this way, constantly, you are enriching yourself within by drawing on a new energy resource that is within each individual. That's the idea.
External journey and internal journey.
First, second is not actually a journey, figurative journey, because there is no going in.
Yeah.
But mentally it is a going in.
I mean to say, to control the mind, as far as I understand, is to control the desire and control the senses. Now, if we are going in, we are controlling the desire, the renunciation. But to go outside, we have to go with the desire of the senses. So it seems to me that if we have to go in, we have to renounce the external journey.
Not necessary. You have a disciplined handling of the external world. Till now, the world handled me. Now I will be able to handle the world because of my inward journey. Like riding a horse. If you know how to ride, when the horse runs, you are happy. If you don't know how to ride, the horse will enjoy the journey at my cost. Today, the world is doing that to us today. We are all creatures of the world today. Why? This knowledge is not there, this strength is not there. Today you can see men are merely creatures of the external world all the time. That should not be. The world will remain. You enjoy the world there. Enjoy through a free mind. What a beautiful concept it is. That's language in the Upanishad. The first sentence of the Upanishad. Isha Upanishad. Isha Vasyam. Idam Sarvam. Yat Kinchat Jagatyam Jagat. Tena Tyaktena Bhunjitha. It says, enjoy the world through this knowledge of your true nature. Then you won't get caught. You won't become a creature through that enjoyment. Today, we try to enjoy the world. It is the world that enjoys me all the time. I think I am enjoying. Actually, I am being enjoyed. I am an object, not a subject. That knowledge will come. That strength will come. Nothing is renounced except what is false. If there is truth in the world, we will never renounce it. For Ramakrishna said, a zero has no value. Put a dozen zeros, it is still zero. But put one behind, it is all meaningful. 10, 100, 1,000, 10,000. That one is essential. So all the items in the world, they have become meaningless if you look after only themselves. But if you put one behind, everything is beautiful. Love, affection, worldly pleasure, everything becomes fine if there is this one behind it. So the Upanishad said, enjoy through renunciation of what is false, sticking to what is truly true. God alone is true. Enjoy the world through God, but God not something far away, the infinite self behind you, behind me, behind all. That's language. Vedanta doesn't want men to be killjoys, full of smile and joy, laughter, mirth, everything is emphasized there in the Upanishads. What you call a healthy-minded religion, as William James said. That's Vedanta. But we must be strong. That strength is something inward. Mere intellectual strength is nothing. Intellectually strong people can be, we say in India, our bulls, they put a noose in the nose and a thread, and they are carried like this. Man is just like that, carried here, there by nature outside. Even the tallest people. Why? This knowledge is not there. That's a condition. Mere physical strength, intellectual strength are nothing. You can all be made creatures. Once you have a bit of spiritual strength, everything changes. A rich man wants to be richer. He becomes corrupt. He does all the wicked things. Because he is absolutely a creature. He has no freedom. So Vedanta doesn't say don't pursue wealth and power, etc. Nothing. Pursue it in the light of this profound truth. Then you know when to stop and when to continue. At present I don't know anything, I just go, being driven by a force behind me. That's all.
Along the same line, what do you feel about being vegetarian or being chaste sexually and things like that?
What is that? I couldn't follow.
In terms of renouncing things, what about so-called material things in life, like and also being vegetarian?
Everything is there, can be insane or sane. Whatever is sanity must be part of it, not insanity. Today there is a lot of insanity in all our pleasures. Sri Krishna says in the Gita, sensual craving in the heart of man, unopposed to ethics and morality, I am that sensual craving, he says. Dharma aviruddho bhuteshu kamosmi bharatarshabha. O Arjuna, kama, that means sensual craving, in the heart of all beings is myself, provided it doesn't destroy somebody else's kama. If I interfere with somebody else's enjoyment of the world, then only it becomes unethical. Then it is myself that is present in you. Such is a lofty position given to man's organic cravings in the Vedanta. But these cravings have a certain gradation. Certain things are lower, certain things are higher, purer, rarefied, better and better. A child plays with toys, that's beautiful for the child. But when he becomes 5 or 6, he should ask for something better. What is that? Knowledge. He must go to school. Can't be playing toys all the time. Similarly, when he becomes a little older, still other things will come. So there is such a thing as a gradation. You leave one, you go to the other, higher. There is no privation, because what you get is better than what you left. Therefore, there is no privation. That's how people are told. Go ahead. Don't stagnate at one level. If a mustached man of 60 goes on playing toys all the time, we say something is wrong with this man. He has become stagnant. So sensual pleasures, if I simply confine myself there, never asking higher questions, that's called stagnation. Don't do that, Vedanta says. That's all. Today there is stagnation at that level. That's why civilization is in trouble. No higher dimension is understood so far. Our sociologists and philosophers, psychologists, they always tell us, remain there, remain there. Add more of it, they will say. They don't know anything higher.
I might ask again, speaking of gradation, I think it's always used as some people believe that a moral person is not necessarily a spiritual person.
That is the...
A spiritual person is always a moral person.
Yeah, what you intend to say is this: morality is not the whole of spirituality, but it is the beginning of spirituality. It is the base of it. You can't have a superstructure without the base. An immoral person cannot be spiritual. That's the idea. Using the word moral according to current understanding. But spirituality certainly is higher than merely being moral. That's it. Morality concerns my relationship with you in a society. If I am alone, who is to dictate about morality there? But spiritual dimension is something higher. But that spiritual dimension percolates into your daily life. That makes you moral. A little percolation. The Atman in the social context is called dharma or morality. But a small aspect only comes in morality. So go beyond the ethical and moral level. That is the higher spirituality, where in morality you are in a crowd. In spiritual life you are all alone. In the experience of it. In the last stages of life's journey, man walks in single file. Is a sentence in Dr. Radhakrishnan's Oxford lectures. In the last stages of life's journey, man walks in single file. Very beautiful idea. You don't go to heaven in a group. You go yourself. What Jesus said, who will be my husband and wife there? Somebody asked Jesus. Well, there is no husband and wife in the kingdom of heaven. He said, what does it mean? You can find it in your daily experience. Husband and wife working in the house, they are what you call a couple, we say. They integrate with each other. But when they sit in meditation, there is neither husband nor wife. Just think of that. For that moment when you are in meditation, where is husband? Where is wife? That external world is left behind. Each is alone there. That's why the capacity to stand at aloneness is a remarkable capacity. We shall come back. But see the wife in a new light, husband in a new light, because you went something deep. That is the real test of meditation. Good meditation must be able to make us see the world in a new light. Invest it with love and compassion. So that is a lonely journey for that period. Husband is no husband, wife is no husband, because at the sensory level only these relationships occur. At the trans-sensory level, you transcend all this. Then come back. Go to the hills, enjoy fresh air, come back. Then you see this life much better. That's called interaction between life and religion. They interact, enrich each other.
What is the attitude of Vedanta towards healing of sickness?
We in Vedanta say that this body falls sick and we develop sciences like medicine to deal with the sickness. It is beautiful because Vedanta says keep the body fit and healthy, with which only you can undertake this great journey both in the external world as well as in the inner world. So all through the Upanishads and the Gita, Buddha's teaching, this emphasis is there, keep the body healthy. By medicine, by diet, by exercise, but don't become body bound. Once you make it healthy, forget it. Don't live on it. Higher achievements are yet to come. So they always tell us, keep, and that is a sign of health. In health alone you forget the body. When you are sick, you always remember the body. It was Rousseau who said, stronger the body, the more it obeys. Weaker the body, the more it commands. So be having a strong body, so that you can forget it. So medical science is there to help us. Many types of medical sciences are there. Some are more natural, some are a little artificial. Modern medicine entirely artificial. So people change over to other things also. But the body is needed. In the Kathopanishad, Yama, in his famous discourse to that boy Nachiketa, tells this body is like a chariot. If you want to go on a long journey, you must have a strong chariot. If it is a ramshackle one, it will break down on the way. This is a long journey, so keep the chariot fit. Then the horses, to drag the chariot, that's sense organs. They are the horses, full of energy. Then horses must be controlled, reins, very essential. Otherwise it will be horse's journey, not mine. Then who is to control the horse? Who is to hold the reins? Reason, buddhi. He is your charioteer. These are the equipments nature has given you and me for this double journey, the world outside and this inward direction. That is the language used in that famous passage in the Kathopanishad. Plato also refers to it in Socrates' dialogues on this particular imagery, but this is richer in the Upanishad. So have an enlightened reason, have a tough mind, have vigorous senses and a strong steady body. Then you will achieve the purpose of life here itself, in this very life. That's Vedantic teaching.
I think this quarter to 10, it is too late. We'll have to go to work tomorrow. And tomorrow night evening we don't have any Gita class. We have already announced in the bulletin.
I am very happy to be with you, and I started 1 month ago with Berlin, 1 week.
Yes, that is good, Maharaj. Tell us some of your
Since last year, invitation came from a strange individual. I didn't know her. She wrote to me, will you please come to Berlin? We want to hear about Vedanta here. Last year I went 4 days. It was a wonderfully large number of people came to the public lecture, about 350 people, public lecture. 90% could understand English, 10% German translation was needed. Then we had a weekend retreat, and then lecture in the University of West Germany, what we call Free University, West Berlin, and another lecture in the Communist East Berlin in the Humboldt University. Then I came away to Holland, finished 3 weeks, then came here, went to Australia. They said, please come this year for 1 week. So I was in Berlin from 9th to 15th of April. There also public lecture. There is an American center, big library and lecture hall built by West Germany. Beautiful hall, full of 200 people with great interest, sort of a lot of young people. Then I went to East Berlin. There also lecture in the Humboldt University, and then lunch with the professor and his family there. Then we had a weekend retreat, taking a whole hotel, about 50 people, studying Shankaracharya's famous book, Viveka Chudamani, crushed jewel of discrimination. What tremendous interest I saw. It is the first time they are hearing such beautiful ideas. No dogma and creed, real study of man in depth to understand the Atman that is there. 150 verses we finished. Next year, they have already taken that house for rent for next year, and that will be finished in 3 years. About 580 verses are there. I have taught it in Australia, in Holland. Tremendous interest in Viveka Chudamani, Shankaracharya. Pure Vedanta you get there. So I finished Berlin. Then I came to Holland. On the way, people met me at Dusseldorf, at the airport. Please come and stay here for a day. I said, all right, next year I'll spend 1 day with you. 1 German, 1 Indian, they were there. 3 weeks in Holland, with a retreat for a week, 1 whole week, in a beautiful hotel, in a village called Oosterbeek, near Arnhem. Very beautiful place, garden, the Rhine River just across there. We studied the Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, one of the biggest and most important Upanishads. Everybody had books. Finishing Holland with various lectures here, there, the University of Amsterdam, etc., I came to New York on the 4th. 2 lectures and 2 centers in New York. Then Washington, public lecture. A subject they had chosen, the spiritual and cultural aspects of Indo-American relations. Very beautiful gathering we had. Then I went to Boston, MIT, 1 lecture. 1 lecture in the Boston Center, Vedantic approach to evolution, and the other is scientific approach to religion in MIT. also Providence Center. Then I went to Detroit, another public lecture, just one day. Then Chicago, Ganges Township, there is a new retreat and monastery coming, 110 acres of land, huge Sri Ramakrishna temple, 500 chairs, a big dining hall where 500 people can sit and eat, another huge hall for a museum of culture, and area is beautiful, silent and quiet. 300 to 400 people came on Saturday and Sunday with lectures, Swami Ranganathananda of Boston and myself, and then service, music, lot of music groups had come from Buffalo area and Niagara area, etc. So I finished that and I came here this morning. And tomorrow, as he said, in Hollywood, and 20th I fly to Sydney, reaching Sydney on 22nd. I lose a day on my way, crossing the international date line. So 20th I fly, 22nd I reach there. We have got a week-long retreat in a beautiful ashrama built by an Australian couple called Ganesh Ashram, 80 miles outside Sydney, Blue Mountain area. Very pretty, beautiful area. There we have about 50, 60 people. Live together in the hotels as well as in the center, studying various Vedanta texts. Then lecture in the university. So also private houses. And also one travel lodge. One whole afternoon from 11 to 5. Lunch, questions, answers, bhajan, meditation, etc. In this way, 3 weeks in Australia, including Melbourne and Perth, sometimes Canberra, the Australian National University. Then I come to Singapore. 2 days, there's a Ramakrishna mission there. Then Kuala Lumpur, capital of Malaysia. All this, and 16 June, I return back to Hyderabad, which is center of South India, where I normally live. And next year, the same time, except about 2 weeks later, I'll be having the same for 10 weeks tour all over the world. That's the program. Huh? Yeah. Sir, certainly. Das Vidanya. That is a Russian word for we shall meet again. I was in Moscow in 77, Moscow State University, addressing the university at their request on the subject is chosen by them, Swami Vivekananda, his humanism. Beautiful occasion. Great response, great respect and reverence, lot of questions and answers towards the end. All this is coming as a book within the next month or two. Swami will be getting it from Calcutta, Advaita Ashram, Vivekananda, his humanism. How the communist intellectuals ask questions, you will find there. How Vedantic ideas find a lodgment straight away in the heart, nobody will question. Especially when one professor got up. Question time. Swamiji, you referred to Vivekananda's humanism, believing in a divine spark in every human being. It is a fascinating idea. We have not heard about it, but we want to know more about it. Will you please tell about it? Is there such a focus in man? A divine focus? And for 10 minutes, I dealt with this subject. This particular truth has elicited tremendous response all over the world. Man seen in a new light. Through the sensory vision, a limited, truncated something. From a deeper vision, something remarkable. Some tremendous possibility within. Just like a tip of a rock. Children will say, there is a tip. Father will say, it's an immense rock, of which tip is only visible above the water level. So at the sensory level, man is tiny. Deep, he is something immense. That knowledge, the immensity of man, is what Vedanta proclaims as the divine in the heart of man. That's why even the communists respond. Even that East Berlin also, this idea struck them. And I was very free. I criticized Marxism. I said, this is the limitation. You deal only with the external life of man. By socio-political control, you want to create a better society. It can never happen. It's only part work. Man must evolve from within into a higher dimension. These two combined, then you will have a good, stable Marxist society. This kind of language I could use, and they were very responsive. That's what I'm telling. Yeah. Oh, just one more point.
Sure.
Just now, I want to tell you, about a month or two ago, China is a big communist country, slightly changing now. We don't know anything about it. We have no contact. But a letter came from a professor in the Peking University, Chinese. I found a book in the library of this university by Roland on Ramakrishna Vivekananda. I took the book and read. Tremendous impact it had on my mind. What a wonderful philosophy, what wonderful ideas. And I felt this Vivekananda has a great message for us in China. We don't know anything more about it. Will you please send us all the literature, a list of these books, what are available, what work is going on. Just beginning of a tremendous interest from that country. Yes, the beginning. Because people come to know more and more. This very China has sent so many pilgrims to India. The 4th century, 5th century, 6th century, 7th century, 8th century. Hundreds they have come in search of Buddhism and Buddha's teaching. And they have written books about their travels in India. So today you will find slowly there is something wonderful in India, a Ramakrishna, Vivekananda, this great Vedanta. Slowly people coming to know it is just the beginning of a tremendous intercourse at the spiritual cultural level between India and China, as it has happened throughout history also. I just wanted to tell you, it's a new thing which I just had just before I left India for the West.